Hi, I'm Bibo, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Nyctophobia, Vampire Encounter. Nyctophobia is a game designed by Catherine Stibble, who is an incredible woman who is looking to create a game that she could play with her uncle. She set out to design something that the two of them could play together, but also something other people could join in on as well. You see, Catherine's uncle is blind, and she wanted to see more games that were accessible to people like him. In this game, 2 to 4 players are given these glasses, which might seem normal at first until you get them on and realize you can't see through them. In Nyctophobia, the hunted are running through the woods in the dark, and they cannot see anything. Another player will not be wearing the glasses, and they will be tasked with playing the vampire, who is hunting the other players. The hunted players are armed with only a rock. The premise of the first scenario is that you are on a road trip gone awry. You've lost one of your companions in the woods, and they are injured and need your help. You must find your way through the dark forest to your friend, and then you must get them back to the car without having the blood sucked out of you by a vampire. To set up the game, first players must pick a character and a token to use. You have 4 token shapes to choose from and 6 character roles. Each character role has a special ability that they may use on their turn, and each player is also given 1 rock and 2 health tokens. The vampire places the wood components onto the board, using one of these charts as reference to create a maze of forests. These are easily laid out for them in the back of the rulebook. You can also embrace your creativity and create your very own maps. There will be even more maps available on the website, and there's a QR code in the rulebook linking to them. The players start the game near the car. The car looks like this, not that you'll be able to see it. The vampire can't get inside of it, but they can attack those inside. Rocks can be thrown out of the car, but not into it, and players inside of the car won't be harmed by the thrown rocks. On their turn, each player must use their fingers to feel orthogonally adjacent spaces in all 4 directions. If they feel an item, they should announce what they feel. The vampire may then tell them what they felt. On their turn, the active player must move 2 spaces. Movement is only in 2 directionally adjacent spaces, but not diagonal spaces. Players may not move through trees or other hunted player pieces. Rocks are automatically picked up upon entering the space that contains it. Players may also take a special action. They can sprint, allowing them to move 3 spaces instead of 2, and they may throw a rock to make noise, distracting the vampire. They may also interact with the familiar, making them tag along in their journey back to the car. It's also important to note that if any player throws a rock, then the vampire must tell them how many spaces it moved and what the rock hit. Now, communication is vital in this game, and this starts with each player knowing directions. Before starting the game, establish which directions are north, east, south, and west. Place the directional cards on the table in the proper orientation. In order to win, the hunted must effectively communicate. This means that on their turn, they need to tell the other players which direction they are moving, what they feel around them, and why they are moving the way that they are. The locations of the trees next to them, dead ends, edges of the board, or any rocks that they find for additional combat or distractions. If you are not communicating, you risk being lost in the forest with me forever. On my turn, I select one of 2 cards in my hand to resolve. After resolving, I discard the used card and draw back up to 2. If there are no new cards to draw, I would shuffle the discard pile to form a new one. The top portion of the card is utilized before the hunted players find the familiar piece for the first time. The second portion of the card is also known as Intensify, and this is what happens after the familiar has been picked up for the first time. As you might have imagined, these actions are much more powerful. That said, the vampire does not have full control over their movement. If there's a noise token on the board, the vampire must move towards the noise token on the shortest path possible toward the noise. If the vampire moved into the space containing it, remove it from the board and continue movement rolls as if there were no noise tokens. If there are no noise tokens, then the vampire must move toward the nearest hunted player piece, for they are bloodthirsty and they simply cannot help but find the nearest source of blood. If there are multiple equidistant players, the vampire may choose between the 2. What happens, however, when the vampire successfully nears a player? Combat. Combat occurs if at any time a hunted player physically touches the vampire piece, typically during the search phase of the hunted player's turn. Upon combat being initiated, the hunted player loses 1 health, and the direction of the vampire relative to the hunted player piece is announced. The hunted may then throw a rock as a counterattack if they have a rock available. When they choose to do this, the vampire player must move their token back 2 spaces away from the player piece. The vampire takes a wound token, and its movement is reduced to 1 for the next turn. It may still use its special card abilities. The hunted player then retreats 1 or 2 spaces, and they may hide by flipping over their token. The vampire will not see them as hunted on their turn. The game ends if the player finds their familiar and gets them back safely to the car. Unlikely. If you're interested in even more Nyctophobia, there is another game available from Pandasaurus called Nyctophobia the Hunted. And that's how you play Nyctophobia. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel. Be bold, play games, be you. Happy hunting.